I'm Dr. Eric Fields, and I help professionals and people with careers overcome their alcohol issues. You are in a select group of people. A lot of times you're referred to as high functioning individuals, or you may have even heard the term functional alcoholic. Basically, what that means is not that you're doing so well or that your job and everything else is perfect, by no means. But what it does mean is it means that you are successful in the sense that you have a career, you're a professional, or you have a good job that is paying the bills, and you don't have any kind of major financial issues. And this is one of the main reasons why it's been really hard for you to accept that you have an alcohol issue and that you need some help, because a lot of times this kind of plays into that whole reluctance in doing something about this, because you look around and you say, I own my own home, or I have a nice place, I pay all my bills, I'm not in arrears or debt. Um, I'm a responsible person on paper. You may even have a really good credit score. But deep down inside, still, alcohol has become a real issue for you. The biggest feeling that you have right now is losing control. And there is a fear that you have that one day this alcohol issue may actually start impacting you in terms of your career, in terms of your money making ability, in terms of your financial situation, etc., etc. You have this strong feeling that things are not headed in the right direction. And there are a lot of other fears that you have in terms of the impact that this is having or may have on your physical health, and most likely on your mental health. And there's a very good chance that it's impacting you socially. It may have caused a lot of issues in terms of your marriage. A divorce may have resulted from it. You may have lost a girlfriend or boyfriend because of this, or it may be really difficult for you to find love and create a meaningful relationship. Alcohol has definitely had an impact on your life, but it's easy for you to look at your job and your ability to pay your bills and say, you know what, I'm doing okay. This really can't be an issue. Even though your feelings every morning that you have a bender the night before, you wake up and you feel so much regret, so much guilt, and you just feel, at the very least, like you're not living life the right way. You feel that if you don't get some help soon, that something disastrous can happen. And in fact, you're probably walking around each day with a lot of anxiety. I bet you at one point in your life you felt on top of the world, even with alcohol being in it. You were going through college or grad school, you were doing well, you landed your job, you started to get promoted, you started to make good money, and alcohol was there with you, and you were enjoying yourself, and maybe there were some nights you regretted, but it wasn't the same as it is now. Now, it doesn't seem to be any good reasons for it anymore. And what I mean by that is, back then, you may have said things like, well, let me just get through college, or let me get through my grad school program. It's really stressful, and I like to have some fun, work hard, play hard mentality. And then maybe when you started your career, your job, you said to yourself the same kind of thing. Well, let me just get through this initial period because it's stressful starting a new job, a new career, or wait until I get this promotion. And all along, there always seemed to be a, you know, a delay in terms of doing something about this, because for the moment it didn't seem so harmful. It just seemed like it was, something that was part of the college experience and to help with some stress of your academics, something that was part of starting out in your new career or your new job. And during that time, you didn't really feel like this was going to be an ongoing type of issue. And now you're starting to look around and say to yourself, I don't really have any reasons anymore. It was different maybe when you were in your 20s and you could say, like, well, I'm just having fun, blowing off steam, doing what everyone else is doing, partying and having a good time because I'm in my 20s and that's what you do. But now, being in your 30s, 40s, or even 50s, now you start to say to yourself, wait a minute, what am I doing? I've gone through all the different phases that I said I was going to go through and that I said was really stressful. And now I'm still doing the exact same kind of behavior I was doing back then. And I don't even really feel like it's so fun anymore. You know, in my 20s, I felt like it was fun and I could have a good time, and there wasn't, this level of guilt or regret that I have all the time. And then when I started to get older and go through all these different phases of my life in terms of my career, I could always say that, well, this is just a temporary thing because it's a stressful point in my life right now. Or, I need some kind of reward, to get through this really difficult, straining time. But now you're at a place where you're in your job, you've been there for at least a few years, if not many more, you're established, and you just keep asking yourself, like, well, what's the reason now? I'm not even having fun with it anymore. It's not even that enjoyable. And that's probably the feeling that you have the most right now is things feel differently. Things have changed. I don't feel like I'm going out with friends to have some drinks and fun. Drinking may have started off being more of in the background, or it may have been a co-activity, but it wasn't the feature, it wasn't the main event. And as the years have gone by, it's kind of felt a lot differently. It feels more like a dependency. It feels more like you need it just to go through your day, just to get through the week. You might be drinking every night just to get through the day, or you might be holding off and really white knuckling it to the weekend, and that's a big reward for you. But it's really not a reward anymore. That reward has lost its appeal. It's really more of changing your mind, in a sense, so that you're not in the same state of mind that you are for the rest of the week. And maybe you feel like you're tired of always being responsible at work and doing what you have to do. And then the weekend is kind of your way of connecting with your adolescent phase or your early 20s phase, or it's just a way of tuning out and trying to reset, or it's your way of escaping, for lack of a better way of saying it. Whatever the reasons are for you, one thing's for sure, you're definitely feeling out of control, and you have this feeling of dread, like something sooner or later is going to go very, very wrong. That this alcohol issue is going to keep getting worse, or it's eventually going to have more and more negative effects on your life. I'm sure if you were really honest with yourself, you could sit there and look at different areas of your lives where it has definitely made a negative impact on. But I think where you're at right now is more of a worry about the future and where this is all going to lead. You know, is it going to eventually catch up and start affecting your job and your livelihood and your finances? Is it going to eventually interfere with your marriage or cause a divorce or, a separation in your relationship? Is this going to lead to more and more isolation and loneliness? Is this going to lead to some major health crisis? All you know is it doesn't feel good. And then the other fear too is this going to lead to some really serious mental health issues? There are so many things that you're fearing right now, and it really is diminishing the ability to enjoy drinking. It's very different from the way it was. And that's what I'm trying to emphasize here. When you were younger, if somebody said, oh, your drinking could possibly lead to some health issues, you'd be like, come on, I'm in my 20s, I'm young. And you'd probably even say that in your 30s, et cetera, et cetera. But at a certain point, as the drinking escalates and as the years tally up more and more and more, these health concerns become more and more of a real possibility. And negative impacts on your life become more and more of a very real possibility. And so right now, as you're watching this, I already know that you've been saying to yourself, it's time to make a change. Before I know it, 10 more years will pass and I'll be like, what the heck happened? And fast forward, and where am I? And what really bad things have happened to me or my life? Or at the very least, you'll feel like 10 years were robbed from you because you weren't living life the way that deep down inside you feel you should be living. I'm here to help. I have been working in New York City for many, many years dealing with what we call high-functioning people with compulsive behavioral issues, substance use issues, etc., etc. I'm used to working with this type of high-level client, and I understand their specific needs and their specific concerns, and my approach is very, very skill-based in terms of teaching you everything that I know so that you can be equipped to make the most progress with this as possible. And the big difference between myself and other people that help with alcohol issues is I have a very open and flexible approach. I am not here to force feed you rules or expectations or goals. And I'm not here to force feed you strategies. I'm here to present to you all of the different kinds of tools that I have found to be very, very helpful to my clients that I have worked with in therapy for many, many years. People come to me with all sorts of goals. Some merely just want to reduce their drinking, and that's fine. Others want to learn how to drink more socially responsibly or moderately, and I accept that goal as well. And others just want to stay completely away from alcohol and be abstinent. Regardless of your goal, I work with any and all. At the end of the day, I'm an expert in human behavior and addiction and substance misuse, and I know how to help people with these issues. But I am not an expert on you in terms of what's going to be best for you. I can help you determine that, but ultimately, you're the one that knows what's going to be best for you. And many times people come to me and they have one goal in mind and it changes over time. They may say, I want to learn how to moderate, and then eventually it becomes clear to them that it's just easier to stay away from alcohol altogether. I've had the reverse. Some people have come to me and they want to be abstinent, and then after 3-4 months, they change their mind and say, you know what, that was great. I feel like it was a good reset, and now I'd like to learn how to drink more moderately. And I've had success with all types of goals and all types of, um, you know, objectives. So that's what separates me from a lot of other clinicians and a lot of other support groups, is this flexibility of goals. And the other thing that separates me is I am here to work with you and be on your team, so to speak. I am not here to tell you that you're in denial or you're being defensive or anything else if something I'm suggesting doesn't seem to be working or doesn't really appeal to you. At the end of the day, we have to find tools and strategies that are going to work for you. And I have tons of them. And you're going to ultimately figure out which ones are going to work for you the best. So for years and years and years, I've been helping people with these substance use issues, just like you, high functioning individuals. And now I'm at a point where I really want to expand my help to as many people as I can. And so to do that, I am now going to be offering a program that is designed specifically to help people learn how to overcome alcohol issues. Basically, I'm going to be teaching you everything that I know that has been helpful and effective for many of my patients. I'm going to teach you all of it so that you can, in a sense, become your own psychologist and know how to help yourself. This is not therapy. I am not going to be going back into your childhood or exploring all these different kinds of traumatic events that may have happened to you, or all these different life struggles, or your history of relationships. We're not going to delve into all of that. This is not therapy, and then therefore it's not a treatment. What this is it's a skill-based program to teach you how to resolve these issues on your own. However, it's also a program that's going to provide you a lot of support to make sure that you learn the skills the right way and that you are educated about them to the point where you can select the strategies that are going to work the best for you. And I'm going to be working with you on a daily basis to make sure that that happens. And I'm going to commit to you for 3 months to start with. And after the 3-month point, we can always discuss what direction you might want to take after that. Many people make a lot of progress in 3 months, and that's where I came up with that amount of time from. Has been my experience in therapy helping people and seeing people make tons of progress in 3 months if they really learn the skills and strategies that I'm going to be teaching them. And because this is laser focused just on the alcohol issue, I feel like you can make so much progress in this program that I'm going to be setting up. Couple things that I want to review with you, just so you get an understanding of my approach and how I think alcohol issues need to be addressed. Right now, you're acting like an automaton. There's not much thinking going on when you're drinking. It's very reflexive. there is an urge, which is an impulse, and then you're drinking. And this is not involved so much in the equation. At least you're not so aware of it being involved in the equation. And so that's the first step to gaining control over this. Whatever control means for you, control can mean reducing the amount you drink, learning to moderate it, or learning to just steer clear of it altogether. It all starts with awareness, and I am going to teach you exactly what is going on here that leads to your actual decision to drink. Because it might feel like a reflex, but there is a decision that happens. It might feel like a split decision, but it is a decision that you're making in these moments. And it's based off of how you're viewing that exact moment. And I'm going to teach you how to become aware of that so that you will then learn over time by these exercises that are aimed at increasing your awareness what the function is of your drinking. In other words, what is the reason for you drinking so much more than other people? Many times, drinking has more than one function for someone. Many times, it does a number of things for people. And the list is endless. I'm going to help you decide and determine what it actually does for you. Because once you figure that out, then we go to addressing the third main factor, and that is learning other ways of dealing with whatever alcohol is helping you to deal with. Learning alternative behaviors, alternative skills, whatever it's doing for you, we're going to teach you how to help yourself and how to do that for yourself rather than relying on alcohol. When alcohol is no longer depended on for emotional relief, for getting rid of icky feelings or negative thoughts or bad memories or low self-esteem issues or a variety of other kinds of things, low tolerance for frustration, stress, you know, a feeling that you need some extra confidence, a feeling that you need to reduce your anxiety, a feeling that you're worried about the future and you need to shut that part of you down. Whatever alcohol is doing for you, being a social lubricant because you're not feeling so adept in social situations, we're going to teach you how to remedy whatever those deficits are, whether it be needing more social skills, needing better coping skills, needing to find other activities that you're more passionate about, that are going to be more fulfilling for you. Whatever alcohol is doing for you, we're going to find a way to help you do it better on your own. Because I can tell you this, it's not a great substitute. The reason why people feel so compelled to engage in compulsive and addictive types of behaviors, the reason why they're so addictive is they're so convenient and they do work on the short term. So if they didn't work, you wouldn't do it. So whatever alcohol is, you think is doing for you, it is doing that to some degree. It's just not doing it as well as a more natural or healthy way, right? And it also is doing it in a very convenient way because all addictive behaviors have this in common. They're all very, very convenient. It's very easy to open up a bottle at any time and start drinking or to get alcohol. It's not difficult. it may be a little bit more difficult to get a basketball game going, or a jam session if you're into music. So that's what you're up against. But I know ways to beat it, and I know ways to compete with that major convenience factor that all addictions share. Okay, so I hope at this point you're pretty sold. If you're watching this video, I've already predetermined that you're probably going to be a good fit for my program. I've been screening people to really see who's going to be good for my program and who I don't think is going to be good for my program. If you have a severe physical dependency to alcohol, you wouldn't be a good fit for my program. If you're really struggling right now to such a degree that you're still trying to find a job, or you're set up with social services and you're in that kind of state right now, my heart goes out to you, and I totally understand, and I really hope that you get the help that you need. But this program would not be a good program for you right now. After you get yourself to a better place, then this program can be very, very helpful. But right now, it's really designed for people that are still functional, they're still holding down the job and paying the bills, et cetera, et cetera. But they know that they are probably in a very serious situation or soon going to be in one. So reach out to me, for those of you that I've sent this video to, and let me know if what I said resonated to you, and I can go over more of the nuts and bolts of my program and exactly how I plan on helping you. This is Dr. Fields. I hope to hear from you soon.